Hi everyone, very good morning. Today, this is our last revision for August monthly test. Unit 1 Nature of Physical Wall and Measurement. In this revision, we go to through some important questions based on August monthly test. So, in our first lesson, we know that nature of physical wall and measurement. First of all, already we know that what do you mean by science, how the word derived from, what is the meaning of science. Then after the meaning of science, we know that knowing of truth or knowing the truth. Okay, good. Then after second, we go through the topic of some important scientific method. Commonly, scientific method means systematic observation and then controlled experimentations and qualitative and quantitative reasoning. Then after mathematical modeling, prediction and verifications of falsifications of theories. These are these important involving of general features of scientific methods. And second thing, and we go through to what do you mean by physics. Then after this is what do you mean by physics. This is just we call revise. And what are the branches of physics? What are the branches of physics, which means related of classical mechanics, thermodynamics and kinetic theory of gases, optics, electricity and magnetism, acoustics, astrophysics, and finally relativity. These are the branches of physics. And we go to further scope and excitement of physics, and um, we enter into the important topic of in our monthly examinations related topic, which means measurement. Commonly, when you can measure what you are speaking about and can express it in numbers, you know something about in it. But when you cannot express in it numbers, your knowledge is a meager or and unsatisfactory of kind. This is said by Lord Kelvin. First of all, we know that we move simply. Yeah, this one is types of physical quantities. These are the important one. Physical quantities are classified in two types, namely, we know that in previous class of 10th standard, and also we have studied about in earlier of 7th and 8th and 9th also. So, there are two quantities. One is fundamental or base quantities, and second one is derived quantities. What do you mean by fundamental quantities? Fundamental or base quantities are quantities which cannot be expressed in terms of any other physical quantities. Already we have revised and just recall them. And derived quantities nothing but we can express in terms of fundamental quantities. It's called as derived quantities. This is the one of the important questions. And second, this is an important one, unit. Frequently asked questions, define unit. This is the statement of unit, so we can underline the following statements. And third questions, SI system. This is one more important things. What are the advantages of SI system, or what are the importance of SI system? The following points are very important of 3 points. So this is the third questions, and further we can move. This is quantity, unit and symbol. Yeah, this one. So asking the questions was expressed, define radian or define steradian. This is the questions which means the mostly frequently asked questions. Measurement of length. We know we can measure the length by using of scales. A scale can be measured by a small distances, which means millimeter and centimeter. We can measure the more small distances, so we can using the devices of screw gauge. So asking the questions, explain and use of the screw gauge and vernier caliper. So we can write as the we can draw the simply diagram and what is the least count of screw gauge, and how we can accurately uh, see the view of the objects. In second, we can move second topic, which means second method, vernier caliper. This is also an important questions. Vernier caliper is a versatile device, which means using a diameter of the hole or depth, and we know that the least count of the vernier caliper is 0.1 millimeter. And third method, this is also frequently asked questions. In this method, triangulation method of the height of an accessible object. In this method we can measure the large distances, so that's why we are using the triangulation method. Triangulation method is most important questions, so we can revise. And another method, parallax method. So parallax method is also important one, so just read and revise the topic clearly. So next topic we go to see determinations of distance of moon from earth, and finally we can revise the important topic of radar method. Here we notice the point of radio echoes. What is the principle of radar method? We can mention radio echoes. So clearly notify, this is not provided in our book, so we can write as what is the method means radio echoes method. It means echoes, we know that we have using of two transmitters, whereas parameters. First one is transmitter and second one is receiver. When we are transmitting some signal, the medium will be transmit, and then the receiver will be receive the signal. After the receiver reflecting the signals, the medium will be can transmit or where the source from the transmitter transmitting signals and receiving this. So we can the following method can be uses. And these are the theory of errors. This is important questions. Accuracy and precision. This question will be asked in 2 more questions or 3 more questions. What do you mean by accuracy? Given an example. What do you mean by precision? And given example. And important 5 more questions and frequently asked questions of errors. This is the most important questions of 5 more questions and repeatedly asked questions. Explain in detail the various types of errors. So we can write as following errors: systematic errors, experimental technique of procedure, which means imperfections, personal error, least count error, random error, cross error. These are the errors. So another important 5 more questions. Error analysis. This is asking in 2 more questions. So relative error. This is a relative error is also called as fractional error. So the questions will be asked in terms of define fractional error. So we can write as the ratio of the mean absolute error to the mean value is called as relative error. This is also called as fractional error or relative error. This simply tells us relative error is mean absolute error by mean value. So we can write as del am by am. In another topic, important 5 more questions. These questions will be asked in 2 terms, which means, what do you mean by propagations of error? Explain the propagations of error in addition and subtraction. In another way, explain the propagations of errors in division and multiplications. So just recall this following errors. Already we have revised in 2 times. So just recall the following questions, and this is an important 2 more questions. Define significant figures. What do you mean by significant figures? The following data will be provided in this content. And what do you mean by round off? This is 13 questions. And one more thing, and asking questions of most important questions, rules for counting significant figures. So state the rules for determining significant figures, and also additional questions are rules for rounding off. These are the most important questions, and last and final questions of dimension analysis. Dimension analysis question can be asked in most important 2 more questions. What are the advantages of dimensional analysis, or what are the applications of dimensional analysis? These questions will be asking in many more time, and these questions will be asked. Convert 76 centimeter of mercury pressure into Newton per meter squared using the method of dimensions, by using of dimensional analysis. In the example 1.14, the second point of dimensional analysis used. Check the correction of equations of mv squared equal to mgh by using of dimensional analysis. We know the dimensions of mass and velocity and acceleration due to gravity and height. So apply the value of the given equations and substitute. Whether left hand side and right hand side both are same, the equations will be dimensionally correct. And finally, this is the most important questions. Example 1.15. Obtain the expression for the time period of the simple pendulum. So providing following data of mass of the bulb and length of the pendulum and acceleration due to gravity, and the value of constant k equal to 2 pi. So we can derive the equations t equal to 2 pi root of L by G. These are the following data. We can revise our monthly test for August. And finally, limitations of dimensional analysis. The following data or points will be providing what are the limitations of dimensional analysis. We can just revise and recall them. Thank you. So I think your studies will be very fine and good. I hope you. So you will be attend the exam very clearly and neatly. I hope you. And once again, wish you very all the best. Thank you. Thank you so much.